to A Weasel, a Pickle, and Levi, a podcast with three friends. And this week we are joined by our biggest, our favorite, and our only fan, Mitchell Minderhoud, otherwise known as Mindy. We're excited to have him on the podcast. We're here live in studio in the White House, the Oval Office. Donald Trump allowed us to be here this week. We're really excited. We're excited for our guests. We're excited for our location. We're just happy people at this moment. How are you, Mindy?
Oh, I am wonderful. Thank you for having me on this week.
We're glad you could be here. Well, our first topic, as usual, is an Ask Reddit question. And so this week it is, what is the worst thing you've seen a little child do? Mindy, you have to go first since you're the guest.
All right. I'll see what I can come up with. So I've got a lot of little siblings, and I've seen them do a lot of stupid stuff. So I'd imagine my story would have to come from them. But I don't know if I could come up with one in particular, but my two youngest brothers are usually pretty nasty to my parents and everybody else.
Classic.
So maybe it's not necessarily something that they've done, but my parents at one point in time had to flip the door handle on my littlest brother's room so that they could lock him in instead of let him lock the door so that they could keep him in there and keep him under control for a little bit.
Wow.
I don't know if I ever had to have that. Parks probably did.
Parks was probably a devious child. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually still have that, so.
Oh, no. Parks is locked in his room every night at 9 p.m.
No supper. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love you, Mom and Dad.
I love your mom and dad, too.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much.
For me, I don't know if I've seen children. I've probably seen them do horrible things, but it's more like what I did as a child. Like, I was a wretched, wretched child. I've told Nicole these stories, but they come to mind of, like, breaking windows and throwing eggs at people. Like, one time my friend and I were shooting.
How old were you?
I think this is before 5th or 6th grade, so probably 3rd.
Okay, yeah.
I was shooting BB gun in my front yard, and I live in town. And I was shooting at it like a bottle. And then my neighbor's pickup was across the street. And I'm like, I wonder if this gun will break the window.
Oh, no.
And so I start shooting at it from my porch, and nothing happened. And so what do? I get closer to it, and I shoot at it, and then it shatters. And then I sprint away, like just gone. And I go inside, and I tell my mom, I'm like, Mom, I broke our neighbor's window. It ricocheted off the ground, which was totally a lie. Like, straight up was aiming at the window. So bad. Another time I was with my friends, there was this pickup in our neighborhood that was old and rusty, but it had like a normal windshield on it. And so we just took some bricks and chucked them through the windshield. And then we ended up getting caught, and then we pegged it on our other friend who had like nothing to do with it. So I did end up confessing to that one because I felt really bad.
I have a question for you, Chase.
Yeah.
So, at what point did you develop a moral compass?
I don't think that came, honestly, until like my sophomore year of high school.
Oh.
Like, I was just set on a bad path from being young until sophomore year. Because now
I want to know how old you were. How old were you when you threw the bricks through the window?
That was probably like the same age. Yeah, like, and now I feel bad when I speed. Like,
That's
such
good.
a radical transformation.
Hey, that's good. Yeah.
I want to know what your mom and dad did. Like, what did they tell to the owner of that truck?
I can't remember. I think they told me to go vacuum it up, but then I didn't. Like, I think my dad did it for me.
Oh, no. Oh, boy.
Nice.
Yeah. Praise the Lord for sanctification.
Amen.
Yes. Here, okay, I guess I have two, well, not really two, but 1.5 kind of. So when in preschool, I think myself and one other child, we were over like this water bed where you could like spell words out with foam letters. And I don't remember what happened, but I think he went and grabbed a kid and like dumped him in the table, like the water table in preschool.
What?
Yeah, and I ran away like crying and screaming.
Of course you did.
And this one is way more embarrassing, but I was, I think, old. Like I was at least 12 or 13. I was, really getting into basketball at this age.
Mm-hmm.
And in the house, I was doing some janky crossovers, spin moves, and like dunks without a ball, or anything, just around the house. And I was going to my room one night, and I said, I'm ready to dunk on LeBron in my like imaginary world. And I go up and I smash our ceiling light.
Parks's story involves him just completely innocently breaking a light, and then mine is like I straight up am aiming at a window and shooting it. Just
the
the
worst
difference
thing
in
Parks has ever
there.
done
Yeah.
was an accident.
Yeah.
No.
Parks, this is a little bit of an aside, but do you want to tell our listeners about a little conversation you had on the interwebs this last Sunday?
Oh, no. Okay. So I guess, Chase and I have been recently getting into chess. And I think Nathan and Mindy, you guys like chess, I'm sure. And yes.
I hate online chess. That is entirely false.
Okay, never mind. Okay. But on this chess website, they have coaches that you can message and have live conversations with. And this shows some immaturity, I'm afraid, on my part.
Oh my word.
I clicked on this man, Gunghelu.
Gregorian.
Gregorian, excuse me. Gregorian from Ukraine. Yeah, Ukraine. No, I don't know where he's from. And I think I typed out this.
I have it pulled up here if you want me to read it, Parks.
Oh, sure. I don't have it with me, so.
Yeah, I got it. All right, this is what Parks sent to a grandmaster in chess. Hey, Gregorian. I am a better overall player than you are. Would you like some free lessons from me? I will offer a one-time free trial, but I regularly charge $79 an hour. I just beat my 2-year-old grandson about 34 weeks ago, and as a result, I received a degree in chess at Harvard. Please let me know your decision. Thanks so much. Classically funny. Parks's mind is a genius with comedic things, and I didn't really think you would get a response back. But Parks, what happened?
Oh, I got a botchy response. He was obviously peeved. I didn't know I was gonna set him off that much, but it wasn't that bad. But I don't know what he said.
He said, "You're crazy idiot. Go drink and forget about yourself."
Okay. Low, that's too low.
Parks, you're crazy idiot.
Yeah, it was like "your" with an apostrophe.
Yeah, not your a, just "you're crazy idiot."
Okay.
If I'm being honest, when I saw that picture of the chat board between Parks and this grandmaster, I honestly could not believe that Parks even said this to the guy.
I know. I was shocked. I saw him typing it up. I was shocked that he actually sent it. I'm thankful he did, though.
Did you send him a nice apology, Parks?
I tried. Okay, I tried to. I tried so hard. I was like trying from different accounts, but he was so peeved he turned off like public messaging. So I wasn't gonna ask to be his friend because I think he was still mad.
The story of how Parks got blocked by a chess grandmaster on online chess games.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Parks, if you really wanted to go say sorry, you could take a flight to Ukraine and find him. Now's a good time for that.
I mean, well, Trump is here. Trump. Yeah,
Yeah,
Trump. Trump.
Oh,
is
take his
yeah.
private jet.
I
There you
will.
go.
Hey, Trump.
DT just said we could do it.
Oh,
All right, boys.
thank you, Trump.
Well, transferring from grandmaster chess players to Martin Luther, today's quote is from Martin Luther. We had a little bit of show prep, and Nathan could not comprehend this quote, so we'll see how this goes. All right, this is from Martin Luther's Heidelberg Disputation. He had 28 theses here. It was in 1518, I think. But, so, quote, "The love of God does not find, but creates that which is pleasing to it. The love of man comes into being through that which is pleasing to it." End quote. Mindy, give us some thoughts. You're the guest. You're the expert on all things theology and engineering and life. So we want to know. We want to know what you think.
Something like that.
Yes.
I mean, I think he's pretty on the point there. So, like, to start talking about the love of God, not finding things, but rather creating them because they're pleasing to him, I guess you can look at the creation and at us as people. Last night, I was listening to a church sermon from the church I usually go to while I'm here at school, and we had a fantastic sermon on Psalm 104 about creation and how that walks through the 6 days of creation, and you can just see how much love God has put into the creation and all of that, and how much he really loves it, and even man especially, even though there's so many amazing things in the creation. And then I guess to go to the next part, talking about the love of man, it kind of makes man's love seem almost superficial compared to God's, because we only love the things that make us happy, right? That's what I think that kind of says. But
I think just like the nature of being a human, we can't truly create anything. And like if we were to create something and then love it, or create someone and then love it, like people would not call that like real love if you're just creating something and loving it, I guess, as a human, and like marrying it. I don't know. But that, like, God has to, because all things come from him and nothing is apart from him. And we as humans are so sinful. Like, he's not going to find us beautiful unless he makes us beautiful.
For my sake,
yeah.
For my sake, could you read it one more time? Because I think the first part of the quote makes more sense in context of the second part.
Okay. The love of God does not find, but creates that which is pleasing to it. The love of man comes into being through that which is pleasing to it.
So, is that like yeah, you can go ahead, Nathan.
Oh, sorry, Parks.
No, you're good.
No, really, I'm sorry.
I am actually sorry. So.
I'm really sorry that I have you on the podcast, Parks.
I am sorry I'm even doing this. I'm just kidding.
Got him.
I'm just kidding. Okay.
Yeah, Nathan, continue your thought.
Yeah, I kind of lost it. Let me see if I can find it again. So I'm thinking that that's talking about maybe the natural man without God, and how, all of our being is selfish naturally. And so we're going to love what makes us happy as the natural man does. But maybe that first part is then talking about how God's love is unconditional, and it's not based off of like, we have to please him. He loves it.
We can't.
Because no, we can't.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from him. He
absolutely.
Yeah. And so, like, I believe as Christians, and through his, just general grace, he gives people the ability to love.
Absolutely. My mind definitely goes to, like, when he's talking about the love of man comes into being through that which is pleasing to it, more like not the call to love neighbor, because loving your neighbor, you're not going to always find them so lovely. Like, you need to love your enemies. But then, like marriage, when you like romantic marital love, that's like you find something beautiful in someone and then you pursue them. Like that's how that works. You don't just like, it's not like you're indifferent towards someone and then you're like, I'm going to just go after you just cause. Like you find things within that person that you find beautiful and desirable. Whereas God, he has to create in order to find something beautiful, because there's nothing outside of himself. And then our sinful nature has corrupted us so much that we cannot do something pleasing to him unless he changes our hearts. And I think that's getting at kind of this unconditional election type of idea.
Yeah, I think that's right on the money.
Yeah. So God's love in turn like creates what our love looks like. Is that what that is kind of saying? Or...
I think it's just differing between the two. Like,
yeah,
surely
okay.
he did, like, our love only results from him creating us. But I think it's just showing like the difference between the nature of our loves, not necessarily saying they're connected.
What was the context of this quote? You said the Heidelberg Catechism dissertation or something like that?
The Heidelberg disputation.
Disputation?
Yeah, he was arguing kind of his new ideas of faith justification type stuff and developing that through these.
Okay, then I'd say it definitely is tying into that idea of,
absolutely.
God chooses us and we don't have that ability yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This doesn't have any ties to the Heidelberg Catechism at all, does it? That's just completely separate.
Thinking about the love of man. So, like, as people who have been made in God's image and people who trust God as their Savior and have been born again, our love flows out of that creating and God. And so, like, throughout our lives, it becomes more and more like that, and we're able to love unconditionally. I don't know if it's talking about specifically to our neighbor or like your partner, like what you were talking about, Chase. That's a good application of it. And like with marriage, the example in the Bible for that is given by God's love, Jesus's love.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, man's love always goes back to that.
Yeah, like being formed from God's love.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. Mindy, are you sitting on a freeway right now? I'm hearing a bit of road noise coming through.
Yeah, sorry, I've got my window open, so I hope that's not causing too much of a problem.
Hashtag door to no AC.
Yes, exactly.
I don't really get it because we're at the White House right now, so.
That's true.
Well,
but Mindy,
I'm not.
Mindy,
I'm
we're
just
the
a guest.
hosts.
I get it.
I
get it.
I mean, obviously, we're not going to always have our guests with us because we're big hotshot podcast moguls, getting to go to these different places.
Also, social distancing, so
that's true.
You don't know where I've been. I just went to Sioux Falls, which is just the center of this pandemic in the Northwest. So
yes,
that is true.
Yeah.
Lest this turn into a COVID discussion, nobody wants that. Let's move on to another topic. This is a beautiful topic in which we've just read about in our Engineering 295 class. Entropy, the second law of thermodynamics in creation. And how does that all mesh together? Some might say that the second law of thermodynamics proves evolution is a farce. Some would say that's horrible logic. Guys, let's talk about this.
I really like farce.
Oh yes,
it's a great word.
Can I preface this with I'm afraid I kind of skimmed through the readings.
My!
Okay,
are you kidding me? It was 6 pages. It was nothing.
Oh, that's a lot. That is a lot. With the course load. Oh boy,
Parks.
And
we did have like 10 assignments due.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Mindy and I were fine.
I was fine too.
I
spent every night last week watching TV, so
wow, that's actually incredible. Okay, I'm glad all
right, so Parks is not going to be part of this discussion. Mindy, let's talk about this.
What about Nathan?
Could Parks give like a synopsis of what the second law?
I want to hear. Yes, that's good. Second
Yeah,
law
tell
of
us, Parks.
thermodynamics.
Yes,
What is that?
second law of entropy is that entropy can not increase.
Oh, wow. That is
the problem that they were talking about.
Yeah.
See, you will see which side of the argument I am on.
Parks, nobody has any idea what you're talking about right now. Can you please not spread bull crap?
No. Okay,
Excuse
the
my language.
Oh,
Parks.
thank you. That was a bit crass. Then, so entropy cannot decrease, but it can only equal 0 or increase, correct?
No, incorrect.
That's how you start making really
system.
bad arguments about
You
creation.
need to define your system, Mark.
An isolated system.
Yes. An isolated system, entropy can only increase.
Good.
It has to increase.
A good way to picture that, like if you're thinking of the entire universe as the isolated system, then you have the idea of everything is expanding and becoming more disorganized.
Yes.
But if you have like something like the Earth can be considered an isolated system.
No, cannot
open
be.
System. Yes.
Yeah.
Because you have heat transfer from the sun and heat transfer away from the Earth too, and whatever else there may be.
I'm just saying in my notes, all I have written down for what the second law is there ain't no such thing as a free lunch, and I can't tell I took energy out of the ocean unless I take a lot of energy out of the ocean.
Science. That's a science definition right there.
Yes.
I still don't get what that means.
No one does.
No idea.
Yeah, I'm not exactly. I could not really describe to you how that exactly relates to the second law. He's going to listen to this and fail us, guys. We got to come together here.
That is true. Sorry. Dr. Timmer, I'm sorry.
Parks, you're done. I mean, you said entropy can only decrease.
No.
Yeah, how did you do on that test there, Parks?
Okay. I said that I changed. Did I correct it or what?
Yeah, you did end up correcting it. Yeah.
Entropy can not decrease.
There we go.
Good.
Great, clear way to say that.
Did you hear that, Dr. Timmer?
Yeah, he just called me and said, yeah.
Okay, good. I know what I was doing.
So to bring this in light of like, who cares about this and does this matter at all about a creation argument or anything? Some people would argue, some people have argued that because everything tends toward chaos or entropy or disorder, evolution can't happen because the second law holds. But that doesn't take into account that entropy only increases for an isolated system, and the Earth is not an isolated system. So entropy could theoretically decrease in the Earth as a system. And so that argument against evolution doesn't hold weight. Not saying that evolution is true.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying.
In your opinion, does this even apply or make sense when you try to apply it? Because
not really. Like, I guess
like a good idea of how to describe entropy. Like, if you have a gallon of gasoline and 100 gallons of water, and like it's hot water, and you try to do work with the gasoline and the 100 gallons that have the same amount of, like, let's say, thermal energy, gasoline is going to be much more useful and has far less entropy than the other. Well, I don't understand.
It's like the energy is diffuse. Like with gasoline, the energy is really concentrated. But with 100 gallons of water that's at 100 degrees Celsius, it's very diffuse energy, even though the energy content might be the same.
Yes. So why would a law talking primarily about the quality of energy ever apply to this?
I think, and that's part of the argument he makes in the article, is that it's stupid to make this argument because it doesn't really. I think they get the idea, like, since evolution involves going from simplicity to complexity, that's the problem, because entropy would say things go to disorder, but evolution would say things are ordered more and more as you go along the evolutionary chain because you're getting more complex. But like that's genetics. That doesn't really apply. And like you see babies go from a simple, like somewhat simple organism and grow into an adult, and like things get more complex there. But we don't say that that violates the second law of thermodynamics.
Yeah, my big takeaway from reading that article was that just regardless whatever argument you're trying to make either for or against, like you're going to run into a logic issue with your understanding of the second law, because nobody, myself and Parks included, can understand what the second law has to say for a given system, because everybody just gets it all mixed up because there's so many different pieces and ways you can
a lot
take
of
that second law
terms
to be.
Yeah.
The part I found most interesting about those articles wasn't really about their arguments for or against evolution, just because the article basically said that those arguments are all kind of silly anyways. But I really liked the discussion about whether or not entropy was a part of the original creation or not.
Yeah,
I did too.
I like that too, honestly. Yes.
Yeah, I did too, guys.
I had a good.
I was gonna mention that actually. So, what do you guys think about that idea of entropy? Like, I believe God did have entropy existing, just like He had gravity existing, or the second law holding true, just like the law of gravity holds true, because that's an integral part of the order of His creation. But like the idea of Him protecting humans from the effects, like so that people wouldn't die.
Yeah, like He just...
And also still a little confusing how that relates to entropy. But I don't know. I liked his idea.
Yeah, like not that those things weren't present in the creation before the fall, but that God was protecting us from them, and a relationship with Him involved that protection. And then once we like chose our own way and chose autonomy, like that got cut, and He like subjected us to the full effect of the creation, maybe.
Yeah, like then we have to start caring about them, or like even understand what that is. I talked with this. I don't mean to at all. Like, yeah, okay. I think this relates. I talked with Sam, my roommate, a bit about like jobs and just career fields, and if any of that would be necessary without the fall. Like, so as engineers, like what would that even look like? What would healthcare work look like? Would that be necessary? Probably not. We just don't know, I guess. And so I don't know
I think like we're mandated to work and to keep the world before the fall happened. And like
Adam and Eve were called to care for the garden.
Yeah, and Adam named the animals, and like, so I think there would have been work there for engineers to like continue to develop the creation and discover more about it. Healthcare is a little different though. I'm not really certain about that.
Yeah, to pull it back to how I mentioned that sermon from last night that I listened to, he also mentioned in about a minute segment of a man's important role that God has given him in his creation. And me being the brown noser that I am, I took a snip of it and sent it to Vanderwerf that night. Like, hey, I thought this was really cool. But like, even in creation, like, it's not like man is bad and man is just destroying the world. Like, that's not what man is. Man has been created to develop and be a good steward of the creation. So sin or not, I definitely believe that we would be in a position in which we would have the opportunity to develop creation and build stuff, engineer stuff, and
Oh yeah, yes. I'm just thinking like our job, like I don't know, would it just be the same in that case, or like I just am thinking that
I think it would still be ordered. I think there would be laws we'd need to follow because those laws were existing before the fall and they were good. So like you'd have to be considering.
What are you saying? Like civil law, like moral law, or physical laws?
Physical laws that engineers work with and have to take into design.
Yeah,
like we study in mechanics all the time.
Yes.
You know, Professor Vanderwerf does a great job incorporating what Mindy was talking about in class.
He actually does.
The rest of our profs too. I appreciate that a lot.
That's a huge reason of why I love Dort, is their ability to do that. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
He
But
goes to
yeah,
that
I
church,
think.
right, Mindy?
What's that?
He goes to that church, right, Mindy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he did happen to watch it as well, but I figured maybe he didn't happen to see it, and I wanted to send that to
it's
him.
It's fun to talk about that stuff with the prof.
And I also told him a thank you for all he does, taking time out of class for
Absolutely.
devotions, or just even in the mundane things, mentioning that. And just, I've been feeling that very recently, just very thankful for that, and I don't get a very often opportunity to stop and tell him thanks for that. So
honestly, it's been hard with this online classes. Like, you do not get that. Like,
yeah,
I talked with him with Vanderwerf for a little bit before a Zoom session for study session once, and he was just like, yeah, that's what I'm kind of learning from this, is it's really hard to teach Christianly online. It's much more difficult than when we're in person and can just have discussions and stuff like that.
I think he's done a good job though, like with the reading reflection that he did.
Yeah, that was nice. I like that.
See him and his daughter have a duet playing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys write a verse?
No.
Oh no!
I did.
I'm an engineer for a reason. I'm not a poet.
Oh, Mindy, you could do it, baby.
I did write him and thank him for the videos. Like, I love the viola. I talked about the timbre and color and tonation of the deep sound
Beautiful.
of the viola.
What a musical genius you are, Park.
No. But it was nice. Those were nice videos.
All right, let's transfer from entropy and thermodynamics to our favorite college stories. Mindy, you out of the three of us, or four of us, probably have had the most interesting and most fun, considering Nathan Parks and I do homework about 55 hours, and you are speedy. Give us the lowdown. Share some fun stories. You've got quite the group of friends.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. There's so many to choose from, and I know I'm just gonna steal Chase's right here off the bat. But we went on the big tour for engineering, and me and Chase and our good friend Peter Kirshner.
Order.
I mean, Nathan and Parks came with us, but they left early and they missed out on all the fun. But
we had our own fun.
I'm sure. I'm sure. What, doing homework in the hotel room, right?
Getting lost. Mohammed couldn't find us. Exciting.
I love that without any context. We're gonna leave it at that. Mohammed couldn't find you guys.
Yeah, that's true.
But
continue, Mindy.
Anyways, me and Chase and our friend Peter, we went and just kind of wandered around downtown Minneapolis for the night, and we saw some cool buildings, the Minnesota Vikings football field, right? And stumbled across the party district on Thirsty Thursday.
Oh my word!
Oh,
so
no.
wild.
What?
There is just a ton to the story, but yeah, and then the train ride home with our new friend Troy, who I have on Instagram and see pictures
Troy
of
Bergen.
from time to time.
Everybody look him up, Troy Bergen.
Definitely. What a guy. Very sad story at the same time as a very fun story. But
yeah.
That could eat up a whole hour of a podcast anyways.
Oh,
so
totally.
I better not do that. So
you should say a little bit about the train ride.
Yeah.
In your conversation with him.
Yeah. So when we sat down, this guy walked over. He's a short, kind of skinny black man, and we're three white college kids out on Thirsty Thursday getting on the train in the party district. And he walks over to us and he says, "You guys know where this train is going, right?" And I was pretty sure we were just sitting in his regular seat, so he was trying to scare us off so he could take a seat. Yeah. We're like, "Yeah, this is going to the Mall of America, right where we need to go." And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I totally profiled you guys as just drunk white U of M students who were getting on a train and didn't know where they were going." And from there, he ended up sitting down and we had a conversation with him. Chase did his best to share the gospel to this drunk, hopeless man.
Poor guy.
And yeah, so we just chatted with him for
like
45 minute train ride back to the Mall of America and got off and went our separate ways. And
one of the funniest parts of that, dude, was Peter. Like, so this guy, Peter, is from Bloomington. And so is Troy. And they ended up having a mutual friend. It was absolutely bonkers. Just this random drunk black man on a train, and Peter knows someone who knows the guy. Oh my goodness, so funny.
Just such a small world we live in.
Small world.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, that was definitely a college highlight.
Absolutely.
A lot of other small ones from the semesters past, but I don't know. That one particularly sticks out in my memory.
For sure.
Yeah.
Parks, you got any?
I have one, not very good. I mean, of course there have been many, but
yeah,
maybe they won't translate well in a story. But one is first day heading to Dort. I'm very excited. My young little freshman mind just filled with excitement and anxiousness, and I was excited. So, oh boy, I'm trying to remember. So week of welcome was starting, and I think everyone met in the BJ Hahn, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, okay. On our way, I'm going with both of my parents, and apparently we had been driving, I think, in like 30 minutes with some wrong target point. I don't know what had happened. But we realized, wow, I'm going to be about like 20 minutes late for this like 10 a.m. week of welcome meeting. And so I race, like, okay, we get to Dort eventually. No one is like walking around really because they're all at this week of welcome meeting. And I go to the campus center and maybe like 2 or 3 kids are there, but I have to, I think, get like my badge and all of this, I guess a t-shirt, whatever they give us. And, oh man. So did you all have to take pictures?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
everybody had to take pictures. Parks.
Oh, that's
You had a one.
But right when you got there, that's when that happened, right?
You had to do it. Yeah, before like
that was one of the things on the list to do.
Yeah, there was a big checklist. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
most people got there like 8 a.m. to like move in and stuff.
Okay. So here I am, 10:45, walking into to get my picture taken, while everyone is getting info, like important info on week of welcome and getting into their groups. And so I sit down for my picture. About like 20 minutes it took to get a picture because my glasses were glaring so badly.
Because you're so beautiful, you kept breaking the camera, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Park's glorious mustache.
No, thank you. And the lady just said, just tilt your head down a bit more. Pretty soon I'm just looking like at the floor at this point, and they're taking pictures of me. And so finally one is kind of adequate, but there's still glare on the picture, but that's okay.
Your
so at this
picture
point,
is so funny.
I know.
Hey,
I wish I could get a take. Oh well. And so at this point, well, what time is it? Oh, it's like 2 p.m. I need to go to the BJ Hahn. And so I run to the BJ Hahn, and right when I get to the front door, it's just gobs of people start pouring out in their groups, and I'm like, oh no, like where do I go to get help, and who do I ask?
That sounds horrifically stressful.
Yeah, it was pretty stressful, yes. Yeah, I found some guy. I don't remember who it was, but thank you, man, for helping me get into my WoW group. It was with Ben. Ben DeRider was in that group. Rylan was.
Wow.
Yes. Sam D.
I had Chasing Chase in my small group.
Oh my gosh, that was so stupid.
Yeah.
No, Chasing Chase is what he said.
Oh. Okay.
Mine was Nice Nathan. So.
Oh, that's so bland.
I couldn't think of anything besides naughty, and I wasn't gonna say that. It's so janky.
It's so funny. Nice, Nathan.
Normal Nathan?
Narcolepsy Nathan.
That is a good one. I should have.
No, that's
that
Ben
one.
Schmidt.
And yeah, that is
true.
definitely Ben Schmidt. Love you, Ben.
He's worse
if you're
than I am.
listening, Ben, we love you.
Oh, my WoW group, I had Grace was in my WoW group. I
Nice.
had Colton Colhoun and Colin O'Brien. Those
Oh,
were like
nice.
and the campus famous Hunter Drew with his Trump truck.
Oh,
Yep, he
Oh,
was
what a
he was in
legend.
my WoW group. What a legendary WoW group.
Yes.
such different times.
Ian
Changed a
Nelson.
lot since then.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Ian Nelson was in my WoW group, and
What's up, Elijah?
sometime we have to tell a story about Ian Nelson.
Oh, that yes,
good.
that will be
Oh.
fun.
I'm sure there's a lot of stories about Ian Nelson that could be told, aren't there?
It's too good. Yes.
Oh, fun times with that guy on band tour.
Yes.
My memory is band tour. It was
Of course it is.
oh,
What
yeah.
else would it be? That's where life really started for one. Nathan
Oh,
Vermeer.
you know it. See, let me tell the story. So I went on this band tour, having a good time, hanging out with my buddy Parks and Ian, and roommates, tour buddies with Joe Campstra. It was a fun time. There's this girl sitting in front of me, like this seat next to me. Her name was Lindsay, and I had hung out with her a couple times before. You know, she's kind of nice. So, like, she came and sat down by me. Was like, "Hey, can I take a nap here or something?" And history. Such a nice tour.
Oh, that's
Yeah, they're gonna be like married here in a couple of years. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh.
Yeah, we had a
we're
fun
all
time
happy
on
for
that
you.
tour, Parks.
Yes. Yes.
Parks was an excellent wingman.
Ah.
Like, he made me look like the coolest person on earth. Funny too, which is hard to do.
Oh,
That is really tough.
that's you.
Especially with such a
Parks.
cool person like Parks as your wingman.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, but like the whole thing is, Lindsay's only with you, Nathan, to get to Parks.
Oh yes,
Oh.
she has told me that before. Hey Parks, do you remember when I would
Yeah.
turn around and like put something like up your nose or in your mouth because you kept
Oh
sleep with your head?
no. Okay, wait. Not
It
in
was
my,
so funny.
not in
Oh,
my
that's
nose.
so bad. What?
In my
It was
mouth.
real.
I would.
I
wake
don't
up-
remember what I did. Like I would do stuff to you to wake you up.
I would wake up with like Twizzlers and just sticking out of my mouth.
Nathan, that's weird.
Yeah.
Mindy, I would feed you a tomato. You can't say anything about that.
Oh my word.
Oh yeah,
You're-
okay. Well, you know what? It's not that weird. It's not that weird.
College is such a weird time.
It's true.
Yeah. Trace, do you have anything?
I think absolutely the Minneapolis story. That was
Oh
just absurd and incredible, and it was a high. That was so fun. I thought, like, that night where the 2 nights where you, Nathan, and Parks and me, we went. Wow, guys, I know English.
Good.
What?
Jeepers. Yeah, that's the story.
Are you talking about when we went to
yeah.
Platt?
No, yes. When we went on Heartland Break, the night where we went to Ad Astra in the theater, and we were the only ones in there. That was so fun. Like
Oh, that was
just a
fun.
movie with the boys, but having no one else in there, that was a lot of fun.
Exploring Western and Parks wearing a Dort shirt. And,
Yeah,
and then he takes it off and it's freezing outside. But
because he's scared he's gonna get mugged by Northwestern people.
oh, it's so funny.
That was really fun. And then when we went to Star Wars at like 2 a.m. That was really fun, and that was a fun night. Lots
That
of good
was.
Wait.
Yeah, that's
Nick-
like one of my favorite movies ever. Star Wars 9.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Wait, do you
Yeah, okay.
do you like Star Wars, the newest one?
Me?
Actually, yeah.
I love Star Wars. I was just saying that thing about Star Wars Episode 9 to stir the pot a little bit.
Yeah, we all hate it. So
Just kidding. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was okay, but that's about all I can give it.
Parks, you do not like it. What
No,
Yeah,
I
shut
don't like.
up, Parks. Oh my word.
You've
I
never
can't-
said that before.
I was joking. I can't stand it. It's
It's a
good.
terrible movie.
That wasn't very nice, Parks. You need to say something nice about it. J.J. Abrams' feelings are hurt.
Yeah, he's probably
Okay.
listening right now.
Well,
JJ,
JJ?
big fan of the program. He's with his family around the fireplace, listening to our radio show right now.
JJ, yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask if you could just remake that last film,
Oh, that would be good.
and we'll help you.
Or the last 30 minutes especially.
Oh my goodness, so many things, so many missed opportunities.
Well, me being your biggest fan, I know you guys have discussed this movie already, so
That's true. We don't need to beat a dead horse.
we should. Yeah,
That
definitely.
horse is dead. Well, boys.
Wait. Excuse me. Pardon.
Yeah,
One
what's
more,
up,
One
Parks?
more question. Mindy, do you have a go-to snack over this
Oh
quarantine?
my word.
I'm not much of a munchies guy, but if I've got pop in my fridge, you better believe that I am drinking it.
There we go.
good.
I went to Walmart the other day, and this Dr. Pepper cream soda that I'm drinking right now.
Oh, that sounds
is
absolutely
so good.
wonderful.
So good.
Oh, nice.
Definitely.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Definitely one of the best pops I've ever had.
Baby, we're gonna have to crack one of those here in a week and a half when I'm down in
Oh
the
yes,
center.
definitely crack open a cold one with the boys.
Oh yeah, with the boys.
Of pop, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Parks, thank you for clarifying.
Good.
Well, gentlemen, we have done what we always do on this podcast in that we've stumbled through some topics. We've had the beautiful Mindy on the program. The man, the myth, the Mindy. And until next time.